The company began strictly as an electrical enterprise by my granddad and his partner, Bill Black. We began to get into the mechanical business in the late 1950s, plumbing and pipe fitting, then into ventilation, heating, air conditioning, and we got into sheet metal through acquisition in the 1960s, which brought a fabrication capability and installation capability.
The business overall has gone through tremendous growth over the last number of years, and sheet metal has grown with that. We have two primary sheet metal operations within Canada. This is the primary shop for Southern Ontario, and it works in concert with a pipe fab shop. And we also work collaboratively doing sheet metal, specialty metals, pipe, and also some miscellaneous metal work as well in this shop. They're quite a talented bunch.
We start with jobs coming in, we estimate the jobs. From there, we get BIM, CAD is involved to design the job. And then from there, it goes to the shop to be prepped and made. While that's going on, I'm also setting up the field work, getting my supervisors, my foremen in place and manpower. And they also get involved with the CAD and BIM because what they see in the field compared to what they see on a computer are two different worlds.
We do a material takeoff, which determines how much material is going to be used in the job and how many shop hours are required. So if we get the job, we basically turn over all of that information to a project manager, would involve the shop as well. So the shop knows what they're building, how many hours they have to do it, and when it has to be built. And then we sit down and review the specs. Is there a better way to build it than, using our SMACNA standards than maybe the specs had in there? Can we take advantage of any value engineering and build it better?
When I first started, everything came in as flat sheets of metal. All the ductwork was made on a bench where you'd notch it manually and slit it and then run it through all the machines. Since we bought this machine about 6 years ago, it does everything. We bring in 10,000-pound coils of galvanized steel from 16 gauge through 26 gauge. 6 coils are on the machine at all times. It takes it, once we get an order, it comes right from my office and gets sent out electronically right into the machine through the computer. He punches in whatever the job is, then we start running off the metal. So the metal comes off whichever gauge coil, then it goes through a beading process if required, which puts stiffening beads on the material. Then it gets cut to the size. If it's going to the plasma to be burnt, it just goes straight out the end, comes through the rest of the way, and there's a break at the end that bends it into the finished shape. It is the most expensive and most used machine in the shop. The plasma cutter came in the 80s. As the computer programs got better and better, more and more is able to be input in the computer, burnt on the plasma table. We can be more productive, get more work out there. So the evolution of sheet metal has changed a lot from the pattern development and layout, but there's still custom items, so you do still need people with those skilled trades that can still lay out the custom things that we can't make in the plasma table. Welding is another big thing. We need people that have the skills. We have a couple of skilled welders here still that really know how to do all the different elements: aluminum, stainless, galvanized, or black iron. So this is something that there's a big opportunity for the young people to learn welding. A big part also of what we do, we get pickup jobs. They're sent in to us. Sometimes joint tie rods are required, intermediate tie rods. In this case, the gauge is determined by SMACNA. So if you look inside of here, you can see the tie rods that we've installed. SMACNA dictates that we have to do that to make it withstand the pressure.
I think it's interesting that the sheet metal as a trade has been prefabricating their product offsite in shops now for probably 40 or 50 years. The rest of the industry is now catching up to understand that prefabrication, modular construction is important. And with the advent of BIM and VDC technologies, we're now all getting on board to make sure that our product is laid out and built to spec before it goes out to the industry, which is making us safer and is also making us aware of cost certainty and schedule certainty, which is important when we deal with our clients.
It's all about keeping that shop busy. The busier the shop, the more efficient the shop is, the more cost savings you can have.
As always at Black McDonald, growth is important, but safe growth is the most important. We like to make sure that all of our employees are working in a safe environment.
As Black & Mac says, nobody gets hurt today or tomorrow. Safety is the most important thing.
I think the special thing about that we have dozens of long-term employees, hundreds of years of experience.
When an important team member retires, that they retire their sweater and hang it in the shop, sort of as a tribute to them, their legacy and the input they had on the shop. So we have probably a half dozen sweaters hanging up in the shop right now, and maybe mine will be part of it one day if they think I'm worthy.
My grandfather lived an extraordinarily long life. You know, the values that he communicated that are on the plaque at the front door of every office, he was able to articulate that, you know, when he was 100 years old. There's a succession of leadership and related family just in the shop alone, and that's something that's common in our company. That's something I'm most proud of, that people want to not only spend their career at our company, but they want their kids and their other loved ones to do the same thing. It's how proud they are of the green and black.